So, today I want to talk about the book Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It's one of the first classics that I have ever read after a person who is really important to me recommended it. My goal for this video is to tell you how much I liked it without sounding too much like a pretentious human being. And I should warn you beforehand that this video is not going to be a professional analysis of Mary Shelley's book, where I talk about biblical references or Prometheus, or all those life-changing metaphors everyone claims to see in every second word. I want to do something reckless and evaluate this book from the perspective of a person who just picked it up in a bookstore without any kind of beforehand knowledge about Frankenstein besides Hollywood, and judge it simply on the fact of how much I enjoyed reading it, like you should do with literature intended for entertainment purposes. What a daredevil I am. But the reason why I want to do it like that is because I think that classics can be quite intimidating as a choice to read. And on top of that, schools manage to kill off the slightest hint of fun someone could have with a book like Frankenstein, and turned the classics book genre into a synonym for the word boredom. So I'm here to fight that, because you shouldn't miss out on Frankenstein if you like to read horror, or if you want to read the predecessor of the modern science fiction novels, as they say. There's also a lot to say about the writer Mary Shelley and all the problems she had to face in her life. She's a really interesting person, and I think there's a movie about her, but for now I will stick to the book and just talk about that. Frankenstein was published in 1880, so it's a bit harder to read and to understand. It took me around 15 pages to get used to it, and every now and then I had to look up a couple of words, but it did not take away from the fun that I had by reading it. When you are a native English speaker, you should probably have even lesser problems than I had. And the writing style gave the book a surprisingly cozy feeling, which I really enjoyed. The story is about our main character, Victor Frankenstein, who is quite passionate and dedicated to his work as a scientist. He wants to explore the limits of nature and do something life-changing that no one ever did before him. Unfortunately, our scientist did not consider the possible consequences his biggest experiment could have, but the deed was done and he immediately felt fear and regret. The monster was alive. And our main character could not have imagined the price he had to pay for the thing that he created at that day. If you want to read Frankenstein, you should know that this book is a tragedy. Many innocent people die and not one character can smile at the end. I'm usually not a fan of tragedies and prefer happy endings above everything else, but the ending of this story felt quite complete and left me satisfied. But now I want to talk about the monster, and I was really surprised how he was written. Instead of a mindless beast that I expected to see, he turned out to be quite intelligent and, after some time, quite aware of his surroundings. And that awareness led to him asking what the point of living was for a lonely creature like him, without a place or a purpose in life. The people feared and hunted him because of his appearance, so he was forced to live in isolation, still longing for love. All the injustice he had to suffer turned into resent and anger towards the man who created him, who forced upon him this lonely and painful life he never asked for. And I, as the reader, had to ask myself at that point if it was even justified to call that being a monster. I can comfortably say that Frankenstein's creation is my favorite character in this book. The only thing that I knew about Frankenstein was the classic Halloween Hollywood depiction of the story, where the evil scientist Victor Frankenstein and his hunchback sidekick Igor collect body parts and put them together so that Frankenstein can scream at the end,
Igor, it lives! It lives!
But the original one was not like that, and I'm just a little bit disappointed that there is not a sidekick named Igor. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed reading Frankenstein, and I will reread this book every year around Halloween, until I'm sick of it. So definitely a must-read for every horror and classic literature fan, but I would recommend this book to everyone. And yeah, that's all I had to say, and thanks for watching. Ciao.